Cross. Hi, my name is Anna.
And I'm Peyton.
And today, what are we doing today?
Today, we are back for our Road to Kingdom episode 4 reaction video, and we have quite a bit to get through today. We're going to be listening to the My Song performances of On and Off, Golden Child, VeriVery, ONEUS, TOO, and the Boyz.
Yeah.
Wow.
Since we have to get through 6 groups' performances today, once again, like last week, there should be a pinned comment down below if you just want to click through with timestamps. So before we get started, just to say a few things. 1. Before watching all of these performances, Peyton and I both listened to and watched all of the songs that they decided to do, just so that in their Road to Kingdom performances, if there are any differences, we would be able to notice them. And then 2, we're going to be reacting in performance order.
Alright, let's get started. On and Off.
3, 2, 1, a go. The Road to Kingdom intro is so loud.
Like, scares me every time.
Oh my. Oh yeah, Yua is guest starring. Oh, it's like, is it
Oh my God,
marionette dolls?
Yeah, I love this concept.
Oh.
It's like vaguely French. Is that the word I'm looking for? It like
What is
reminds
this
me of ballet.
voiceover?
Okay, even their like makeup makes them look like dolls.
There's... Oh my gosh, I'm trying to think of the dance style. There's like a ballroom dance style that the music in the beginning was making me think of, and I can't think of the name.
Is it tango?
That might be it. I think that's it.
It's tango.
Cool, thank you.
Jump! Yep. Do you know what this kind of reminds me of?
What?
Do you remember the orchestra dance that Ten did where he like...
Oh, yeah.
I love this type of concept. Like, I think it's so intriguing.
I was trying to see if he was holding it properly.
Oh, I would not be able to tell you that.
Couple dance.
Is Yua the main dancer?
I think she's one of the main dancers in Oh My Girl because her
they
older
missed their
brother.
hands.
Her older brother is a choreographer. I know that. Like, I think he worked with 1 Million or something.
Oh.
All the masks are just making me think of the Jabberwockies, like ABDC, America's Best Dance Crew.
I was like, Alice in Wonderland?
Oh, he's not holding it properly. Sorry, the music nerd in me, the ex-band kid in me.
Reaction king right there.
Why does this also sound like an anime song? It's the really intense strings. Silence.
That was really beautiful.
Yeah. I must say, actually, when we were listening to all the songs beforehand, I actually liked this song I like this song the most, like the original song. That's cool!
Oh, that's really cool.
Oh, I love that. That high note got better towards the end. It started off like, I was like, ooh.
They're like sad marionettes. Like they've got like tear tracks
Yeah,
down their
I was gonna say,
faces.
it's teardrops. I mean, like, the original song.
Oh, I liked that, sorry.
It's kind of sad too. What's happening? Oh, it's like the wind-up toys!
Oh, I was not expecting it to continue. I thought that was going to be the end of it.
Same. Oh.
Oh, it would make sense that they would go back to Yua. Okay.
Bring it back full circle.
Oh, that's
Her
really
face is
creepy,
so
actually.
tiny.
That's like really creepy.
Yeah.
I'll go first. I actually really liked this concept, and they had like teased it last week, and so I knew that it was going to be marionettes and everything. But I think that with marionettes, I would say it's kind of like a common theme, at least in like ballets. So it might not be common to normal people, but if you grow up doing ballet, then having like dolls and marionettes, it's pretty much in every single ballet. And so I remember seeing it and being like, okay, that could either be really good if they do it really well, or it could be kind of like, because I've seen it a lot. But it was absolutely not that was really good. So at the very beginning, Anna, you said that it kind of reminded you of like a tango, but I was just sitting there and I was like, this reminds me of a ballet. So like I'm loving all of these performances that remind me of ballets and like have that classical like music component and or like at least reminiscent of classical music in the background. So I am living for it. And then I really enjoyed that throughout the performance they didn't ever completely drop the doll style. So like they didn't have it in every single movement that they did, but they would revisit the more like doll-like I'm being controlled by a string movements. One thing that frustrates me, and this isn't just like a K-pop thing, but just in general, like for dance performances, is if you pick a concept, stick with it. And sometimes it's very easy to like drop it because you want to show like the coolest dance ever, but like the whole point of having a concept is to stick with it, and they did that really well. Also, there were a lot of moments where their faces were kind of haunting because it was like they kind of had that blank expression like a doll.
Yeah.
So that was really cool. So they weren't just embodying it, they were like really projecting the character. So yeah, I really liked it. I also really like the original version of this song. I think that they did really well rearranging it. That's my commentary. Anna, what's yours?
So basically, I really liked it too, and I agree with everything that Peyton said, and I feel like a lot of the comments that I may have wanted to make, I already said during the reaction. I just thought it was like so interesting, like the props that they used and also how they used the backup dancers as well for different moments throughout the performance. Like you said, it was very haunting with their like expressions, like being dolls, really embodying that, but then the backup dancers like basically being faceless and then just like also being used as like objects as well. I just keep thinking of that clock thing with the arms. That was insane. They're basically being used as props, the backup dancers. I feel like in this, you don't focus on them because they're literally wearing black and then the white masks and the gloves, and that's it. Like you can't see their faces and facials, which really I think for the overall performance helps elevate the members of On and Off in general, because since you can't see the facials of the background dancers, you can only focus on the members, and I think that really helped. I mentioned earlier that we listened to all of the songs before watching the performances, and the only song that I knew beforehand was Golden Child's song. So out of all the new ones, like they're all good songs, but I think I liked this one the most. Like personally, I liked this one the most, so I was curious how they were going to rearrange it for this performance. The one thing that I loved about the song that I think really made me love the song was the da 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 part. Those pitches are way off, but I love that part. And I love how they kept it in the song for this performance as like the main theme, because the really intense strings throughout the whole performance I think really just added to that whole like haunting feeling. I feel like based on last round's performance and this round's performance, On and Off is the kind of group with Road to Kingdom that they're going to explore a lot of different musical genres for their arrangements for the performances, because I know like last round they tried to do like a whole Gregorian chant thing in the beginning, and then this one is very like classical, like super classical with like the strings and even their performance as well. So I'm curious what they're going to see in the future rounds. My only nitpicky thing really is he didn't hold this properly. He was holding it like this. I'm sorry. Sorry.
Okay, and on that note, next video.
Golden Child doing Wannabe. 3, 2, 1, go! You'd think I'd be used to the intro by now. Oh yeah, Chuchan is playing his violin in this? Like what in the world? Also, I'm not surprised that they chose Wannabe to do.
No, we predicted this, absolutely.
Yeah. You couldn't see it because the outfit's lighting.
Oh my gosh, the outfits and the lighting are reminding me of their 90-second performance, and I'm like...
Oh. Yeah, I feel like they're like climbing up a mountain, like Mount Everest in a storm right now.
This is also like one of my favorite Golden Child songs.
어둠이 닫힐 때까지 구해줘 들려줘 가게 너의 멜로디로 가득 채워 보여줘 널 알려줘 어두분인
Sorry, kind of quiet, trying to focus.
Oh my gosh, there's like an orchestra on the side.
Oh! All the string instruments are just hanging up there like a string instrument chandelier. Oh, look at all those cellos.
No, yeah, that's what I was saying. There's like a straight up orchestra in the background.
Oh wait, are they playing live?
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Are they not using backup dancers?
It doesn't look like it. Interesting. Oh, are the orchestra people their backup dancers? Oh, that one piece of hair in Chenny's face, that was kind of bothering me.
I just love them so much. They haven't changed the dance much.
Yeah, they haven't
Actually, they haven't really changed it at all.
They haven't changed this that much, to be honest. The only thing that they changed much about the arrangement is the orchestra arrangement. But even then, it's not really like a full orchestral arrangement.
Yeah.
What is this?
Is that like an electric guitar?
Yeah, the electric. Wait, what? Oh,
What the
they
heck?
all
They're
have
dancing.
violins.
But they're just dancing.
Yeah, but you can tell like some of them don't know how to hold it properly.
That would be me.
I'm ready. Oh.
Wait, also, so I saw a comment on like the teaser where apparently this is supposed to be like, because I'm not a violinist, apparently this is like one of the hardest solos to play.
Yes.
Juchani musical prodigy. Oh.
I'm gonna send this to my violin viola playing friend. Because she's all about that. Yeah, you can see that he's like playing it.
Yeah.
Like it's all matching properly.
No, yeah, he was definitely like playing. Where did he put the violin? Oh, it's just laying. It's like, where'd it go?
On the ground? Is it just laying on the ground behind them? No, that gives me so much anxiety. Hopefully it's not an expensive violin.
I think that's his violin.
Oh, it's his own? Okay.
I think it's the one he plays in his V Lives.
You know what? I'll say it later. They did another aerial shot.
No, but that one I was okay with because this is a weird shot from the side.
Why is the violin moving?
Okay, pause.
Pause. Keep it first.
I love Golden Child. I love this song. Like, it is my favorite Golden Child title track by far. We have a whole video where Anna and I talk about how much we love this song, so I'm gonna actually not have that much to say, just because from a performance aspect, they didn't change the dance. I did think it was cool how they added in some elements, like since they had the theme of strings and like they had Juteni play the violin, I thought that having the section where they danced with the violins was cool. Shows like this, I think one thing that I've learned after watching many survival shows and many like performance-based shows is, since you're trying to appeal to the general public, you need to err on the side of like being super flashy, like super showy, because you need to catch people's eyes. If the general public doesn't have performance backgrounds, doesn't have singing backgrounds or dancing backgrounds, like they're not going to appreciate like the little technical things that you add in the way that people with performance backgrounds might, unless they're told like, hey, look at this, like this is really cool. So you basically have to tell them with your performance, like, look at how cool we are, look at how good we are. And like, while I have really enjoyed Golden Child's performances, one thing that makes me like kind of nervous, because we haven't watched the show yet, like we don't know what happened, so one thing that makes me kind of nervous is just that they have been going more towards like showing all of these different sides of themselves that are a little bit more like restrained, a little bit more like artsy.
It's very niche.
Yeah, it's very niche. Like the TOP performance, I adored it. It was like straight up contemporary ballet. But like someone who doesn't have the training that I have probably would have just seen it and been like, that's cool, but like not understood like the technique that went into it. And the same thing is true with this performance. Like the dance is very technically difficult, but it's not like so overtly showy that like if you're just watching this and like you never watched it again, you wouldn't think back and be like, oh yeah, that was really difficult, like that was really hard. So like it makes me kind of nervous about what might happen. But I mean, like, again, I love Wannabe, I love the choreography, so I liked it. But like thinking of my like judge, like choreographer's mind, that's like where it goes.
So same as Peyton, if you have seen on our channel, we have this whole series of turning me into a Golden Child fan, and I am now a Golden Child fan. But I want to view and judge this performance as unbiased as possible, and I think we both really try to do that when we give commentary on these performances, and agreed with Peyton, like this performance does make me worried for them. Like they didn't really change the musical arrangement at all either. The song is in exactly the same order. The only thing that they really changed in the arrangement was making it an orchestral arrangement to highlight like Juchan's violin playing later. But even then, like it wasn't a full orchestral arrangement. It was like they added strings, but they still had like synthesized beats and percussion as well. So I feel like that really lessened the effect that they were going for. I feel like if they were going to do that, they should have just done like a full strings arrangement. And then also they like randomly had that part with the electric guitar come in, and that really confused me. Not that it was bad or anything, but I was like, So I feel like it kind of took away from the whole concept that they were setting up and establishing. We need to say like it was a good, we love them, we know how talented they are, and it was a good performance, but I'm still concerned because like all the other groups are going to bring really high caliber performances as well.
Yeah. Everyone on the show is really talented.
Obviously, Chuchani no, I can say Chuchani now. Chuchani like playing his violin and like being highlighted, that moment is super cool. But unless you've been trained and have a performance background, you might not notice like how cool it is from a technical perspective. Because if you're just watching it without that background, you could be like, okay, yeah, he's playing the violin, they're highlighting it, it's just for a concept. Because not just in K-pop, but there are a lot of other performances where like people are like playing a guitar or like playing an instrument and it's just pretending to. So if you don't know that like everything is matching up, then you just be like, okay, that's cool, it's just the concept. When 70% of the votes are from fan club members of the groups and they might not have a performance background to notice these things, that makes me worried.
They still did a really good job.
Yes,
like, for the stage
they
did a really good job. Like Golden Child always does fantastic when they're on stage. They're great performers.
I don't want to sound like snobby and be like, I know, I'm like technically trained or whatever. Like
no. I think so. Okay, TLDR. We're trying to look at this from an unbiased perspective of if we were having to judge this as just like a random person watching this. Okay, next video.
Next video is ONEUS.
ONEUS.
Let's go. 3, 2, 1, go.
So this song also, when we were listening to them earlier,
yes,
I realized that I had heard this song before.
I didn't think I had. I haven't, but it's really catchy.
It is really catchy.
It reminds me of like ajashis in the countryside. Oh, it's so traditional, which makes sense because the original song is like that.
Yeah. This is like how they're similar to how they're dressed in their performance MV.
Fairy
so
boy.
Precious.
He's such a cutie. Oh, the fans.
He has a lot of stage presence.
Yeah. Peyton and I told Peyton that I feel like he, out of all of ONEUS, has the most like natural stage presence.
And I think a lot of it is his eyes.
Yeah. Also, I don't know if people will agree or disagree with me on this, but I feel like, not that it sounds the same, but I get like a similar vibe to Go by BTS. Is it Go Go or Go? I don't know.
I think it's just Go.
Okay. They haven't really changed the song arrangement though, besides that intro in the beginning. This is just one of those like, yeah. like ugly face dance songs.
Yeah.
He does such like a fun sounding line with the most serious facial expression. What? Wait. That difference people. It's just so funny. I'm so sorry. Those are the clouds.
Thank you.
Because it says 구름.
I'm like suddenly having flashbacks to
Eh? That was like a foghorn. Huh?
they're changing. Yeah.
Oh, they just took off the rogue things, right?
Yeah. I think they like flipped
Oh,
them
that
or
was
something.
cool! The brrr into the B. Harry boy. It's just like a party. Oh my god, it's like a rave. But a Korean traditional rave.
A Korean traditional rave.
I'm sorry. Wow. It's like chaos, but organized chaos, you know? Oh, I like that
가자.
part. I like the random percussive thing that they did right before ending.
Okay, pause. Am I going first again?
You always go first. Come on.
Okay, I'm always
It's
going first.
pattern.
So their performance, I think, at least like in dance perspective, from like the dance that they were actually doing themselves for majority of it, is also very similar to what I remember of the original dance. It's just so upbeat and like they looked like they were having so much fun. Hwanwoong, also, like we said this in the reaction, has so much stage presence. Like his eyes are so sparkly. I am a sucker for people with sparkly eyes.
I know.
I think one thing that I've noticed about their performances is they utilize their backup dancers really well. So like while they didn't necessarily change a ton of, like there obviously were changes, but they didn't change a ton of the original choreography. They had their backup dancers doing a lot of like acrobatics, and they had the traditional lion dancing, and they had like the people who were doing the drumming and stuff. And so even though theirs is very controlled and like there wasn't a ton that they had to change, they had a lot going on around them that makes it look very like big and flashy and showy, which is like, again, the type of thing that people are looking for on a performance competition show. I mean, I really like the song. I didn't feel like they changed much, but I feel like Anna will talk more about that. It's just like a very fun, upbeat song.
Orsu,
yeah.
Orsu.
And there's my final comment. Okay, your turn, Hannah.
Yeah, like you said, they didn't really change the song that much. I don't know if they changed it at all besides like that intro in the beginning. I wish I could say for sure because today was my first time hearing the song earlier today, so I'm sorry if there were changes and I didn't notice it. I like the song to begin with. It's very catchy, it's very fun. I'm just gonna relate it to Mamamoo because they're from Mamamoo's company, but like their song Ajegeg, but like still more serious than Ajegeg because Ajegeg is just like a joke, but like you're just
still
having fun. Like it's impressive, but like it's clearly like a fun song because the lyrics is like very old timey Korean speaking. I need to go back and look at the lyrics, but I noticed one thing, that it was like iri onora is something that people say a lot, but then when I was looking at the lyrics it had like the number 2 written e instead of like the syllables. I was like, oh, are there puns in this? Let me go back and check. But yeah, overall the performance was just like really fun. I said that it was like a traditional Korean rave. She has never been to a rave before, but in my eyes that looked like a rave if it was like traditional Korean themed. Or just like, it kind of looked like when you think of like a parade or a festival walking through the streets. Kind of
I
like
think-
that.
Like a parade. That's what I was getting. Like a street festival.
Cool. Like a street festival, like a chukje, with like everything, and then the confetti started coming down, and like the lights reflecting off of everything. But like you can tell that they're just having a good time, and it was a fun stage. So like even if they didn't change a lot of the song, or if they didn't change a lot of the dance, like it's really enjoyable to the viewers, because like there's so much to grab your attention. There's so much happening to grab your attention. And I think I mentioned during the reaction, I was like, it's like organized chaos. Because like there's so much happening, but like clearly it's all like happening like in a certain order, and like it's all been planned. And then like one final comment that I had that actually relates to the song was like that ending thing with just like everything drops out except for like those percussive beats that honestly, it just reminded me of like High School Musical 2, Work This Out, where they're playing on like the kitchen utensils, like that kind of sound. But I think that that was good to include, because there's just been like so much going on in this whole song, and like you know that it's about to end, but then all of a sudden like everything cuts out and you're like, huh? What's happening? And then it ends. So it kept it interesting.
Good. Okay. And next video.
Petty Betty.
Baby
Three.
baby.
2, 1, go. Oh wait, no, I opened the wrong one. Another aerial shot for Peyton. Wow.
But this one's okay because it's like all that's happening.
The only thing I really remember about this is the whispering at the beginning. There's a lot of whispering at the beginning.
Oh, they're in a graveyard. Do you see this tombstone in the background?
Where I see like the dead trees. I have a feeling I'm not gonna like this. Or like,
like
not that I'm gonna, I need to clarify that, like, dislike the concept. I don't like scary things, okay?
I love scary things.
I just like that shot in the beginning where the guy was looking up. If he was wearing like colored contacts of just the whites of his eyes, that would have been so scary. Sorry, I know that was, see, like if they're wearing colored contacts, like creepy ones, this would be so creepy.
So we haven't watched the episode yet. So I'm wondering if like,
What exactly? Concept?
because like he's laying down at the beginning. So is it like he also came back to life? That'd be
Don't do
kind of
that.
a cool concept for like my song. Like they're giving new life to their song.
Oh, is this English class? AP English? Just kidding. Sorry, love you, love you.
Either way, it's some sort of creepy concept. I love it.
I feel bad because I don't really remember a lot about this song since I only listened to it today a couple of times. So I don't remember if the original song is like this. But I feel like it wasn't this like intensely rock.
This does feel more rock than I remember it being.
Yeah, because I know like it does get intense at some point in the song, but this is really... Oh my god.
Okay, I like scary, but stuff with like necks bothers me.
Oh, the cricking sounds.
But hey, they're doing well if they're sticking to their concept.
I know, but I'm just like, oh.
See, that's what
I
I'm
feel,
wondering.
that's
like,
when
are
they should have done an aerial shot, I feel like, when they're in the circle for longer.
Yeah.
Wait, what
But
were you
like
saying?
it looked like they were like protecting themselves from their backup dancers. So I'm like, are the backup dancers like zombies? And they're not?
Oh, it might be because like those hands keep popping up from like the graves in the screen in the
Right?
background. I was thinking it's just like their shadows like lurking something creepy in the dark.
That's also creepy.
Yeah.
Ooh, that was really smooth.
Well, they added a dance breakdown to the song. When you said zombies, I'm just thinking of Warm Bodies now. Do you know that movie?
Yeah.
I know, it has nothing to do with this.
But now it looks like they're trying to like crawl out of the grave or something. I love Halloween. I love scary things.
I hate Halloween, or I hate scary things. Oh. Oh. Oh no, there's something behind him. I'm so scared. Stop. Oh, okay. Nah, it would have been more impactful if the guy behind him did something, man. Peyton.
Keeping with tradition.
Peyton is always first.
This is actually one of the songs that I heard for the very first time today, at least that I like remember hearing for the very first time today, and I also watched their dance practice earlier, and I wasn't quite sure what they were going to do with it. I don't think I would ever have guessed that they were going to do like a scary concept Halloween anything, at least from like the watch through I gave it earlier, but I'm really glad that they did because it really fit in like a way that I was not expecting, and I think part of that is probably because of the arrangement that they did. Man, I love scary stuff. I love Halloween. I am all for this sort of thing. Honestly, my least favorite thing about this is that they didn't go like all the way. Like they didn't have like fake blood coming out of someone's mouth. Like they didn't like rip someone's heart out. Obviously a fake heart. Sorry. Like if you're gonna go Halloween, you gotta go all the way. But also I understand that this is broadcast on Korean public television, so like, yeah, if you couldn't tell, I liked the performance a lot. I love this concept. I also, when I perform, my favorite characters to play are like the scary evil ones because they're really fun to get into character. Man, we're just letting around about me. In that respect, I really liked it. I thought that like the background was really cool. Like I pointed out at the very beginning, there were even like tombstones or like it was kind of like caskets in the background. They had the dead trees. The lighting was really appropriate for this one, even though it was like very dark. It wasn't like, oh, I wish it was brighter. Like it made so much sense to have like the darker lighting. Dance wise, I can't say too much about like what was changed and what wasn't because I don't know the original like super well, but I can say that like what they performed was really good and it fit with the style really well. Like again, we haven't watched the show yet, so I can't say for sure like exactly what the concept was, so I'm not sure like if they were zombies or not or whatever, but there was a lot of that kind of like, this is gonna sound really weird too, so just bear with me everybody. When you think of like a zombie dance, think about like Michael Jackson's Thriller. There's a lot of that kind of
I thought he was a werewolf.
But there's like zombies dancing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And there's a lot of almost like loose, like kind of like, it's like weird movements. Like, and that was really reflected in the way that they were doing certain like traditional moves, but like they might have a weird head with it, or they might like pop their shoulder up when you weren't expecting it. So it was really cool. Like, yeah, it kind of had that similar feeling of like Thriller in terms of style. So it was definitely like super fitting for the concept that they chose. And again, I love Halloween and I love scary, so like all for it. Anna, however, does not. So Anna, what did you think?
I'm really bad with scary things. I don't like scary movies. I have never properly celebrated Halloween before. I've never been trick-or-treating, all that jazz. Yeah, I've never been trick-or-treating before. Wow, we're just learning a lot about me today too. So that's why when we were initially watching it, I was like, oh, I have a feeling I'm not gonna like this. Not because like I don't think that they're talented, but I just don't like scary, creepy things. Once I get over that bias against the concept, I was like, oh, okay. But speaking from a musical perspective, I feel bad because like I don't remember the song super well. Once again, today was my first time listening to it, but what they did change of it, I feel like it was impactful. Like we were saying, like the electric guitar, like super rock elements, it reminded me of Hocus Pocus. And in their arrangement, like the little elements that they added, like the creaking sounds for the neck head thing, as much as I hated it and it made me feel like, ugh, it works really well for their concept. When I first listened to the original song, the whispers in the beginning of the song, I was like, oh, I don't know how I feel about this, because it was just like a lot of whispering in the beginning, but then made into this concept for this performance, it works really well, because it's like the haunting, sort of creepy beginning, like whispers in the night from the shadows. They're lurking. You don't know what's there.
I'm coming for you.
Stop it! I was saying as well earlier that for the ending, I just wish that like instead of the guy standing up behind the person that's sitting on the platform sort of style thing, instead of just standing there, I wish he would have like grabbed him or like done something before it completely completely goes to black. because that would have been so creepy, and I feel like it would have like completed the performance. It's just like that one little thing that it would have been the cherry on top for that performance, I feel like.
Like I was saying, fake blood, rip someone's heart out.
Okay, not that stuff, because that would not be allowed on Korea public like broadcasting, you know.
Okay, so grab him from behind.
So grab him from behind. Now to TOO. 3, 2, 1, start. Seriously, how many times are we gonna watch a video and I still get caught off guard by the intro? Oh. Interesting.
I was not expecting this. Wait, what does this sound like?
Right?
Skills, Libra. Sorry.
소리 없이 내리스친 푸른 빛을 light 알 수 없는 차원에서 두 눈을 떠와 여기 대체 어딘지 나는 대체 누군지 모호해진 찰나 뒤틀린 공간
Oh, what? That, wait.
쉼없이 몰아치는 혼돈 속에 온 세상이 어지러 오묘한 이 기시간 인문들의 갇힌 채난 뒤흔들려 지금 속을 홀로 헤매다.
Are they like split into 2 groups, half and half? Like good versus bad?
Are they?
Light versus dark?
Is that one person's job just to stand there holding scales?
Is that
he
a
part of the
backup
group?
I don't know. I'm sorry. We don't know TOO like at all. I mean, I would be kind of disappointed if that was an actual person in the group, just standing in the back.
I would be disappointed if that was my role.
Yeah.
But I do think, Anna, they are split.
Cause it's the balance of like light, dark, good, bad, like the scale.
I'm shocked how many of the groups seem to have gone with like dark
Creepy
concepts
concepts,
for my
yeah.
song.
Same. I wonder why.
Yeah. I'm like really excited to see everyone's reasoning for their concepts.
Interesting. Good is holding the bad back. Usually it's the other way around. Oh, his robe for that part I felt like was hindering his movements. I'm trying to...
work is getting like to the point where they're getting really close in on them when they're doing these dances.
Oh my god, that is a
she
person in
part
the
of
group. Sorry. Wait,
I really
what? Does he have like an injury or something? So he can't dance? I'm so confused. Also, it's gonna bother me so much how I can't remember what that music in the beginning reminds me of.
Oh. This is interesting.
Oh, that was cool.
When he
That was
was
a good
walking
shot.
through them while everyone was around and fighting,
Yeah.
it made me think of that thing in like the Rogue One where he's like, I am one with the Force and the Force is with me.
I'm so upset because I feel like if I can figure out what the song in the beginning is, I would be able to understand this concept so much more.
Oh, I get it, because it's all about balance. So there's good
Yeah.
and evil. Oh, okay.
That's what I said in the beginning. Oh my goodness.
Alright, stop.
I said that in the beginning.
Okay, we're back to talk about the babies of the show.
Patient go.
So, well, I like that it took me that long, even though you said at the beginning, to like realize that it was about balance.
I literally said it's a balance. The balance. It's a scale. Light, dark, good, bad.
Maybe I was talking about how it was like a Libra thing in the beginning
my God.
when you were saying that. There was like an ashiwo moment where I was
A bit
like,
of a shame moment.
where I was like, I wish, because they had that section towards the middle before the guy came down off the pedestal, and like they were doing some partner dancing or some like smaller group dancing. and like the cameras were getting really close to their faces, which like I get, people want to see their favorites' faces, but like from a performer perspective, I want to see the dance, and so I was like a little frustrated because it felt like the camera was kind of like impeding being able to see what they were actually doing. But that being said, with the whole like light dark balance thing, obviously there were a lot of like fight moments, but they were like dance fights, not even like dance fights like we saw in the Song of King performance from ONEUS, where that was like a staged fight, but like just the dance movements that they were doing were like conflicting, and you could see that like, oh, I'm like pushing and someone will fall to the ground and that sort of thing. So that's really cool. I think the fact that it took me the whole time to wrap my head around the concept, it's my fault, like it's not their fault, but it like impeded me from like taking in a lot of stuff. Also, I am very curious why he was just, we talked about this in the video and before we started recording the reaction, but I wonder if he was like actually injured or something. The part where he walked through the middle though, and I think it was mostly backup dancers, it might have been some of the members, but they looked a little too old to be the members, did their like fight, and it kind of looked like some of them would like come forward and they'd like pull back as he was walking very slowly through the middle. That part was really cool. Yeah, they do a lot of like mirror dancing, which makes a lot of sense for the concept and is also a really cool effect on stage, especially because of the way it was filmed, usually from like they were here and the camera would be here, so you're watching down it. So yeah, I'm just annoyed at myself because my brain stopped working apparently. Alright, your turn.
Okay, so I said it earlier, I'll say it again. I'm so upset that I can't remember what the beginning reminded me of. Like the beginning intro part. If you know, please leave it in the comments down below because that's gonna kill me until I figure it out. I feel like that would have helped me understand the concept more. The reason why is because from seeing last week's teasers for this round, like you got to see them in the waiting room, so I saw the outfits that they were wearing, and then the very intro part before they got into the actual song, that instrumental made me think of like a children's story along with their outfits. Because when I first saw their outfits last week, I was like, they kind of look like princes in like a children's story or something, like characters in a kid's story. But then that's very different from the rest of the performance that they're doing. So I need to know what that song is. But yeah, talking about the actual song and arrangement, once again, I also listened to this song for the first time today, so sorry if I don't remember things exactly. But I feel like they didn't change too much about it. Like, the vibe was still very similar, but they just changed the arrangement to fit the concept of the song that they were doing. But there was that one part towards the beginning where I made like a really like confused expression, like, what just happened? Because there was a melodic line going down, but then at the end of that line, the end of that phrase, the notes got all wonky. It sounded like minor, diminished, something like that. It was really crunchy and dissonant, and it really caught me off guard. And I wonder if that plays along into their concept, because that was when like the people wearing the dark outfits or like the evil was doing their part when the screen was on them. So I was like, oh, does that musical element tie into like the evil side, because it makes you feel like and like bad people, evil things make you feel like so I don't know. So because of that, I like really want to know what their concept was. I want to watch that episode already. I feel like I can't speak too much on TOO just because it's like difficult to hold them to the same standard as the other groups because they are so new. They like just debuted. Like they are like talented and they're doing well. They did very well last round as well. As unbiased as I try to be, I feel like I also hold them to a different standard because I know how rookie they are. So yeah.
Okay.
Last one!
Video.
It's the last one! Ready, Peyton?
Yes, let's do it.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, go.
Watching the boys' performances also makes me nervous because they've done so well in the last 2 rounds that I'm like...
Before we get distracted by the performance, I just want to say, when I saw the title and saw Catching Fire, I was like, is this the Hunger Games reference?
Oh my gosh, wait, no. They put the crown on and they stole the crown last week.
Are all of their performances just gonna be like one huge story arc? Because I'm here for that.
Q is such a beautiful dancer.
He's also just a beautiful oh. That's an amazing shot.
That was so powerful.
Is this a masquerade ball? Oh my god. Like the slow-mo moving. Oh my gosh.
It's like School of Athens. Is that the... Hello, Kevin.
Hi, Kevin. Oh, and it's Q, too. Oh, that was beautiful.
Just like everything else about New, that was beautiful.
Oh, it's Jacob! I feel like I can never recognize Jacob on stage because he's so different IRL. Triplet rap. Oh. I just realized that was Jacob again. What in the world?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, we're about to have it.
It's this thing from the teaser. What? What? What?
Anna, we're in the same position. Did you see that?
I just. Ooh. Oh my god. I don't.
Tonight we're catching fire.
Oh, that's different from the original song. Because the original song was like something about wolves or whatever.
Oh, I love his voice.
Oh. Eric!
Eric!
What are you doing? Why are they shooting from that angle? Oh my god.
Steal it back! The
The
rise.
rise of the full moon, the reveal of the truth.
It's a storyline!
Oh my god.
Okay. Who's going first? I'm just kidding. At this point, I just do it to annoy you. I don't even know where to start because once again, the boys have wrecked me.
Us. Wrecked us.
Once again, the boys have wrecked us. Much like they wrecked the ships or whatever they were in the middle of the song. Okay, but in more seriousness, like last week with their Danger performance and my reaction to it, I could literally go through every movement and moment on stage and give some sort of comment on every person on stage, which I think is something very special because my favorite types of choreography are where everything has an intention. Like nothing has been done just because there's a moment that needs to be filled. And once again, this performance, everything they do has been thought out and put there for a reason, like it all has an intention. But once again, that would take a really long time and this video is already really long. So I won't subject you to that. And I'll just say a couple of the things that really stuck out to me. And one of the things that really stuck out to me this time in particular are the pictures that they were making on stage. And what I mean by that is one of the tools that you're taught when you are like taking a choreography class is that you are supposed to make pictures on stage, like moments basically where there's just enough of like a pause or enough stillness to capture a photo, like if someone were going to take a picture. And it is done so that it kind of imprints itself into the audience's mind. And it's really important for making an impact. And they did that many times during this performance. Like there's the moment at the very beginning where Anna was like, oh, that's a good moment, or like, oh, that's beautiful, where Q got the crown stolen and they like force him to his knees. Like that moment, I can still vividly see it in my mind, even though I've watched the whole performance already. They did it obviously with like the actual photo when I was like, is it the School of Athens? Like, is that what they're talking about? When Sangyeon was in chains, that was like another one. When they collided the boats or the scaffolding or whatever it was supposed to be, that was another one, like Jiyeon at the end. So there were many that are like literally burned into my mind, and that's like a very powerful choreography tool, because one thing that can ruin a performance, especially a performance like this where you have a lot going on, is not taking a break to just like breathe for a second, because it can, like, if you just keep going, it's kind of like silence in music. Like, it kind of just gives the audience a second to be like, okay, I'll latch onto that, and so that was done like really, really well. Dance wise, like, again, they're all such good dancers. I think I clearly have a favorite though.
Gee, Peyton, who is your favorite?
I don't have a, okay, let's not get too hasty. I don't have a bias in the Boyz yet. I don't know enough about them. But from all of the performances I've seen, like, Q definitely sticks out to me the most. And they also use him a lot, especially in like their Road to Kingdom performances. Like, he's been one of the centers in all of their dances that they've done so far, actually. But like, not just Q this time, like many of them stuck out, because I feel like they were all highlighted at different points, which was kind of cool, because it was kind of like each of them had a character that played into the bigger story. And like, I really hope, like we were kind of saying during the reaction, I really hope that they continue with this whole like storyline, because I am so here for it. We watched this for the first time today, so like I have seen the dance a few times earlier today, but not enough to be like, oh, they changed this, oh, they changed that. I do know that they kept some of the chorus that's like very memorable, so I think they did a good job of balancing like new versus old. But yeah, it was so cool, and I really like their performances too, because when they do a lot of the tricks, they're the ones that are like doing them, which like makes me nervous because I don't want them to get hurt, but also like props to them for doing them live. I can't wait until we're done recording so I can go watch it again. Your turn.
Okay, so we reacted to this music video earlier today, actually, and I was wrecked after the music video, but I'm also wrecked after this performance, but it's like a different kind, because even though it's the same song, the arrangement and the way that it's been executed is so different, because the original one was more like sensual, sort of like they're trying to seduce you, but it's like very understated, I feel like. Whereas this one, it had like rock elements to it. It was really powerful, but it didn't start that way off the bat. Like, it wasn't overtly like blatantly power from the very beginning. It was like building up to that, which I thought was really good. And you could tell not just from the instrumental, because like in the instrumental it's obviously like that too, like strings leading up to like electric guitar, which I noticed like a lot of groups did in their performances this week. But anyways, so like starting off with strings, and then like towards the end it leads up to like electric guitar and like all these different instruments coming in, but it also was reflected in their vocals. So I think most of the boys, their vocalists, from what we've heard so far, they have like pretty sweet sounding voices, and NEWS, especially his part in the beginning, or like his first part, is very sweet sounding, kind of airier, breathier, because it's still in the beginning. Like, they're still like they haven't built up to that energy level yet. But even like in the vowels that he chose to use as well, like there's this one part that he does like, oh, and the way that he sings it, he does like an ah, so it's more of an ah, and it's very breathy. But then when they do it towards the end, it's an oh, so like more accented, a different vowel, and like they're just adding more power into it. It's more grounded. So just like even those things, the way that they change it throughout the song, I thought was like really, really, like I appreciated that so much. The reason why I appreciated that more is because a lot of times in performances, like to have contrast, some people will just like sing quieter, but that's not, like, you need to adjust for that as well to add to that effect. And also a lot of times people think that singing quieter means just like having less energy, but that's not true. And if anything, when you sing more quietly, it requires more energy and more air than it does when you sing loudly, because you need more control so that you don't like crack or anything. Once again, it was like a musical, so I really hope that it is a storyline and they keep going with the storyline. To be honest, I'm like kind of confused as to what exactly the concept was, because I'm like, I don't like the staging that they had with like the goblets in the beginning and the picture frame. I'm like, how does this tie in to, is it Sangyeon that was in chains?
Yeah.
So And then how does that tie into the guy who stole the crown? So I'm excited to watch the episode and see all of that.
So TLDR for the episode, everyone's really talented.
Everyone's super talented. I'm sad that someone's gonna be eliminated after this round.
Yeah.
I'm scared to find out who it's going to be.
Yeah.
But
Also, if for some reason you know, don't share spoilers.
please, no spoilers.
Please.
Is that it?
That's it. If you managed to actually watch this whole video, wow. If you didn't and you just skipped around,
That's
thanks
for
watching
two.
too.
Alright, anyways, so be sure to like, comment, subscribe, click the notification bell, and if you liked this video and want to see us react to more of Road to Kingdom, stay tuned for next week. Bye.
Bye.